Hello, entrepreneur. This module is especially for you. You won't find this kind of information in any other training. How to attract customers, how to sell your professional services. These are probably the most discussed topics on all the forums and communities of dispatchers. Despite the fact that the market is growing at an unprecedented rate and hundreds of new MCs are registered daily, many dispatchers who decide to go the entrepreneurial way still face difficulties in this area. And there is nothing strange about that. Once I attended sales training by an awesome American business coach, Tony Robbins. During his presentation, he said to someone, if you have 100 ounces of cocaine on your hands, you wouldn't even be able to give it away for free. So this is a reference to the fact that someone who understands nothing about marketing and sales would not be able to sell his or her product even for free. Frankly, I pity to look at all the guys who have gone through all sorts of dispatcher training, but then have no idea how to begin to apply their knowledge and make money from it. That's why I've set myself the task of doing everything possible to ensure that my students are not among them. Okay, in this module, we're going to start with the simplest thing, something you can sit down and do right now and potentially find your first customer within days without any financial investment. And with each new topic, I will reveal more and more tools and strategies for attracting carriers and selling your services to them. These techniques have been tested in practice by me personally, and I know for a fact that they work. Because even a couple years ago, my company didn't have a marketing department or a sales department. At that time, we were not yet hiring outside consultants and marketers. I was personally responsible for all the marketing. I found potential customers and signed them up to keep the whole team busy with work. I've signed up several hundred carriers with my own efforts, using the techniques I will describe right here. Now, of course, currently I no longer do this, but due to the involvement of professionals in the team, I'm constantly continuing to learn new approaches. All that's required from you is to dive deep into this task and make enough effort to achieve the goals you've set for yourself. So, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Cold calling. What's the most logical first step for attracting B2B customers? It's of course cold calling. In various videos and courses on marketing, I often hear people say that cold calling is dead, that it's not an effective strategy, that there are much more effective options. And yes, they're partly right. However, these experts often talk about B2C, business to customer marketing, so selling services and products to individuals. In that case, I agree with them. If you're selling, say, carpets, calling strangers and offering them carpets is probably not the best idea. But if you're trying to reach the director of a small transportation company, a cold call has one of the highest conversions to a customer compared to other advertising methods. Secondly, when these marketing experts talk about more effective options, they usually mean paid options. Create your own website, set up context advertising in Google Ads, then set up Google Pixel and create a retargeting campaign aimed at retargeting leads on social media. That's pretty much what I hear after the words cold calls don't work well. Well, it's all undoubtedly very effective, and when you grow to a level where you have, say, more than 10 dispatchers in your team, it's definitely the right way to go. Hire quality marketers, pay money, they'll build you a working marketing funnel, and you'll be happy. But we're talking now about attracting a customer for a newcomer in this business, for whom it doesn't make sense to invest thousands of dollars in advertising. A newbie just needs a customer, here and now. I spent 2 years personally attracting customers using this method, and to this day, the salespeople in my company on average sign up 2 to 3 new customers every single week just with cold calls. Even though these managers are also busy with other tasks most of the time, so they're not just doing cold calling. So, what do we need to start calling carriers? First of all, we need their contact information, their names and phone numbers. I'll tell you where to get them. Remember how I've been saying that hundreds of new trucking companies are registered every day in the US? Well, I know where to get their contacts for free. This is invaluable information because come to think of it, who is a better customer for a dispatcher than a new player in the market. Established trucking companies with lots of trucks have long had their own dispatch departments, so it's more difficult to sign them up. To attract them, you'll need a different approach. We'll still learn how to deal with them in this module. But for cold calling, a new trucking company is a great audience. So, here's what you need to do. Go to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's Registry of Licenses and Insurance website. You can find a link to this website in the lesson description. Once you're on the website, click the Continue button at the bottom. On the next screen, in the upper right corner, expand the menu that says Choose Menu Options and select the FMCSA register. After selecting the desired option, on the right side, click the Go button. You will get a list of registered for the past 10 working days. Just download one of the PDF files and open it on your computer. Each file is about 100 to 300 pages. Not all the info here will be valuable for you. Among other things, these files contain records of changes in the names of transportation companies, records of applications for licenses that were rejected, company closures, and so on. What we're interested in is successful applications. We have to scroll down until we get to the page titled Fitness. I have a small document and I have it on page 60. In some documents, you have to flip through more than 100 pages. You will find this page easily because the list of these companies will always look exactly like the one in the picture I'm showing you. Now, an important point. This list will include different types of companies: freight forwarders, freight brokers, carriers of household goods, etc. Remember, the very beginning of the course, in Module 2, if I'm not mistaken, we learned types of transportation companies. So the companies we're interested in are interstate common carrier, except household goods. Most of the carriers in the list will be exactly that, but you will come across others too. There's no need to call them. They're not your target market. That's it. You can download 10 lists at once with hundreds of new companies in each. You'll have their MC number, company name, legal address, phone number, and in many cases even the full name of the owner. I'll give you one more piece of advice. The registry in the public domain only has lists for the past 10 days. So every business day, one new list is added and the oldest one is deleted. So if you want to accumulate this database, you need to visit this website every 10 days and download these files. You have to start doing this now, because if you go to the latest list, which is, let's say, only posted today, most likely all of the companies listed there have not yet begun to operate. They have just been licensed, so they're probably still doing paperwork, hiring drivers, repairing trucks. They could be up and running in a couple weeks or maybe even in a couple months. You can call them anyway because you can negotiate and get them signed up in advance, but it's still easier to sign a carrier who needs cargo right now. For those who can't wait to start calling, I'll leave in the appendix of the lesson a number of these files from 2021. So you can practice on them while you build your own base. So now you have the tool to collect contact information of newly registered carriers absolutely for free. There are alternative ways to get your hands on the databases of carriers. You can search online and buy such databases from other people. You can also go on LinkedIn and find contacts of managers of trucking companies. But I'll give you another free tool to essentially collect contact information of every single registered carrier in the United States. So you can find any trucking company by its name, MC, or DOT number on the FMCSA company snapshot page. Again, I attached the link to this website in the lesson description. What you can do is just go on this site and type in MC numbers in a row. So just pick a random 6 or 7 digit number, such as, for example, 071340. Check if this MC is active and then collect contact information. And then just continue going in order. 071341, 071342, 071343, etc. Open the information about each MC, found those MCs that are active, and just start calling them. This way you can manually find contact information of hundreds of thousands of trucking companies. It would probably take several lifetimes to call through all of them. So with these tools, Your database of carriers is pretty much unlimited, and you don't even have to pay a dime for it. Right. Now that we've figured out how to find contacts of trucking companies to cold call, we need a way to make calls to the United States. If you live in the US, you already have your local number, but if you live outside of the country, here are some recommendations. So, for calls, you will be using VoIP, or Voice over Internet Protocol. In essence, you will call using your internet connection, and the person on the other end of the phone sees it as a regular phone call. In my company, we use Vonage as a VoIP provider. It costs about $40 a month for each user. The package includes unlimited incoming and outgoing calls to the US and Canada, as well as SMS and media sharing. Vonage also provides an admin portal where I can monitor each user, see call statistics, and listen to each conversation. Each user can connect to telephony and make calls from either a computer or mobile app. To manage an entire dispatch department, all these additions are vital. But for a new dispatcher like yourself, you may consider other, cheaper options. Here are a couple of examples. First one, if you're just starting out and not planning to make a huge number of calls right away and don't want to pay for an unlimited package, consider Zadarma.com, VoIP provider. So their per minute tariff for calls to the US starts at $0.007, so that's less than 1 cent per minute. They don't have any connection fees, and the cost to connect a US phone number is about $2 per month. And incoming calls are also free. Next one, Skype.com offers a great VoIP options for businesses at a low price. Unlimited incoming and outgoing calls to the US for about $8 a month, but on top of that you have to pay for a US phone number, I think another $7 per month. The total is about $15 for fully unlimited calling and messaging to the US. Another VoIP provider I've used in the past is Dialpad.com. It's a cheaper alternative to Vonage with its own set of great add-ons. For about $20 a month, you get a phone number, unlimited calls, text, and media sharing. Plus, you can set up a voicemail greeting. So this greatly enhances your reputation. When someone calls you before you connect, they get to an answering machine which you can customize. For example, it might say, "Hello and welcome to ABC Dispatch Company. If you'd like to connect with the dispatch department, please press 1. To reach the accounting department, please press 2, and so on. Of course, by pressing any button, the person will get to you, but for those who call for the first time, it creates the image of a more serious, established company. Right now, Dialpad provides a 14-day trial package. That's 14 days of unlimited calls, absolutely free. I think that's just awesome. So there are thousands of VoIP providers. If you don't like any of my options, just go to Google and pick one you like. Just don't forget to check if they provide an American phone number. Okay, we got the carrier's contacts, we got the means to call them, and we're getting to the most important part, which is building up the courage to make the call. For someone who has never done this before, the thought of making a cold call may be a bit frightening. Fear of rejection, fear of being yelled at, fear of the unknown. Believe me, with time this will pass and you'll become much more confident, but in this section I will tell you about certain techniques that will help you overcome this fear and start selling. To begin, let's look at the best and worst scenarios of a cold call. This will help you understand that there's really nothing to be afraid of. Let's start with the worst. Let's say the person hangs up on you. You call them and say, "Hello, Mr. Johnson, I'm calling you to offer my dispatching services," and they just hang up on you. So what? He'll forget about it in a few seconds, and so will you. Go get some coffee, take a walk, shake it off, and make your next call. It doesn't matter. Or let's say they even yell at you. Let's say you call them up and you say, "Hello, Sam, I would like to offer you my dispatching service," and they start yelling at you. Like, "You're wasting my time, I don't want to talk to you, where did you get my number, blah, blah, blah." It doesn't matter. I mean, from experience, 99% of the owners of trucking companies are very nice people. They will not yell at you. They will politely come up with some ridiculous excuse, and Probably manage to get rid of you if they really don't want to talk to you. If someone yells at you, they're probably having a bad day. Maybe they found out their wife was leaving them, or they wrecked their car, or a bird pooped on them. So you caught them at a bad time. Once I called someone myself and they yelled at me for no reason. And then I called them back about a month later. And they were incredibly nice. And we actually ended up making a sale. It happens. Again, just go out for coffee, take a walk, maybe even hang up if they're rude. You're human too, so you don't have to put up with it. It could also be that they just don't want what you're selling. So okay, that's fine. There's just another person you can cross off your list. Now, let's think about a better scenario. They buy your service. They sign up with you, you start dispatching them, they pay their first weekly commission and keep working with you for years, bringing you money every single week. Remember, they wouldn't have done all of this if you hadn't called them. Chances are they would have never known about you and found themselves another dispatcher. But you called them. You reached them at the right time and you made a sale out of thin air. In one call, in 5 or 10 minutes of your life, you made an extra sale. Isn't that great? This is pretty good, isn't it? At worst, you hang up or they hang up and you move on with your life, and at best, you get a sale. A huge perk of dispatching business is the customer life cycle. Once you sign one, you can make money from them for years. And over time, if all goes well, they will buy another truck and your income with them will double. One technique I've used in the past to overcome my fear of cold calls comes from a man named Brian Tracy. He's an absolute genius in the world of sales training, and he wrote a book called Eat That Frog. I recommend reading it or listening to the audiobook if you get a chance. The gist of the book is that if you ate a frog, you can't do anything worse that day. Eating a frog is a difficult and absolutely disgusting task. You boil the frog, you cut it up and eat it. And whatever else happens to you that day, obviously it will be better than eating the frog. I use the same technique when I make cold calls. So I set myself a very small task, like doing cold calls for 30 minutes. When the time comes, I tell myself, it's time to eat a frog. I get over my fear and laziness and get to work. I know that after 30 minutes, whether the sale goes well or not, I'm a free man. I no longer have to make cold calls. The hardest part is behind me. And actually each time I realized that it wasn't so bad. Usually at the end of the 30 minutes I keep calling because I've already gotten into the swing of things, maybe even had a successful conversation with someone, and I just want to repeat my success. Okay? So, we got some motivation. It's time to proceed directly to the call. We need a sales script. We're not going to invent anything on the fly. We will approach this task in a structured way. I will explain the key parts of a successful conversation and provide a script that you can start with. But let me say right off the bat that a sales script is not a one-size-fits-all ready-made document. No, it's a continuous work in progress. I urge you to work on it constantly to remove the irrelevant and constantly add and test new ideas. The first part of the script is introduction. Here you need to explain as briefly as possible who you are, why you're calling, and at the same time get the person interested. Start with a quick greeting, like, hi, this is Daniel with ABC Dispatch. Is John available? So, easy. You briefly introduce yourself. The person doesn't know why you're calling, but you already started saying their name, so they're interested in continuing the conversation. At least in order to find out what this is all about. If you don't have the person's name, but you have their company name, you can say something like this. Hi, this is Daniel with ABC Dispatch. I was dialing for XYZ transportation. Did I get to the right place? Next comes the so-called hook. This is probably the most important part of the call. After this phrase, the person will decide whether he's interested in having a conversation with you. Here's an example of a hook for calling new trucking companies. Look, I found your contact online. I'm the owner of a truck dispatching company. We specialize in helping new trucking companies get access to a larger number of load opportunities. If that's something I could interest you in, I'd love to give you a short introduction. It won't take more than 2 minutes of your time. The reason for the call becomes clear. I found your number on the internet and I'm calling to offer dispatching services. Why should you be interested? Because we specialize in working with new carriers and helping them get access to more freight. So we're shifting our attention to this because it's one of the major pains of new companies. Usually they understand where to find loads, but they constantly think that someone more experienced has more contacts, more opportunities, and more high-paying loads. And here we're calling them and offering exactly that. And finally, we sell the customer on the continuation of the conversation. We say, if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you more details. It won't take more than 2 minutes. So, of course, we hope the conversation will take much longer than 2 minutes, but it's a sales phrase. It gets him to know that it will go quickly. In 2 minutes, you can get access to something you don't have. Sounds like a great deal. Step 2, needs identification. We can move on to this stage if the carrier has agreed to speak to us. If not, he either hung up on you or moved on to an objection. We'll deal with objections later. But how do we identify their needs? We ask questions. Your key goal here is to get the carrier talking and to figure out if they have a need for your service. So generally speaking, getting the client to talk is the key to success. Many salespeople do not ask questions, they just go straight to the sale. This is fundamentally wrong. Conversations of such salespeople really don't last more than 2 minutes and rarely end with a sale. When you ask questions, think about what you're interested in about the customer. Here are some examples. What type of equipment do you have? How many trucks do you currently have in your fleet? What areas do you operate in? How do you handle your dispatch at the moment? What tools do you currently use to find loads? Or do you think you could be getting better loads but don't have access to them? As the conversation flows, you'll have to decide for yourself what questions to ask and in what sequence. There's no single magic formula that fits every call. If the person on the other side of the phone is sociable and is happy to talk about the business, keep asking questions. The more they talk, the easier it is to complete a sale. Alright, step 3, presentation and sale. So ideally, the leading questions should smoothly lead to the conversation to the sales stage. For example, say you ask the carrier how he handles the load booking process at the moment, and he said that he only works with 2 brokers who send him load offers because he hasn't had the time to get deeper into dispatching. This is where you have to catch the moment and present your service. Here's an example of how you could answer. Well, this is exactly something that I can help with. I will be contacting multiple brokers, negotiating on your behalf, and chasing high-paying load opportunities, as well as filling out all the paperwork, booking loads, and taking care of your invoicing. You will have more load options and your income potential will be higher. See, the carrier outlined the problem and you provided the solution right away. Sometimes that's enough to get them interested and move on to discussing details and prices. But what if you've come across a more experienced carrier? Maybe he's already working with many brokers, has access to load boards, or has worked with dispatchers before. For that, you need to have a value proposition that explains why you or your company are better than all the other options and offers on the market. Here's an example of a value proposition. We book loads with rates above the market, and here's how we do it. We use all available load boards as well as our own direct broker contacts. Our dispatchers always manage to find the best possible option because that's what they do all day. While you're driving and don't have the time to look for loads, your dispatcher will be working and sending you offers based on your financial goals. This way you will never miss a good opportunity even if you're busy doing something else. And the best thing is, we only charge a small commission if we actually book a load for you. So if you find your own load, you don't have to pay a dime. Your money is completely safe. Is that something that would be of interest to you? This is a very strong paragraph. You can adjust the part about commission to your own liking, but honestly it's the easiest way to sell a dispatching service. Because it's one thing when you say, hey, give me $300 and I'll provide you the service. But it's another thing to say, I'll provide you the service and you will only have to pay me commission after you book a load through me. That is, if you make money, I'll make money too. You see, the second offer is way more attractive. Step 4. Closing the deal. According to all the principles and techniques of cold calling, it's not customary to sell on the first call. The idea is to interest the person, qualify them as a potential customer, identify their needs, and present your product or service. This is usually followed up by a next meeting or a follow-up call with someone who can correctly present product details and close the deal, such as a senior sales manager or operations manager. But in our case, we definitely will not be meeting with our customers, and there's no one else to close the deal but you. The specifics of selling dispatching services is that closing the deal and signing contracts is only a small part of the sale. The main sale begins when the dispatcher starts working. It costs the client nothing to sign up with you. He can send all the paperwork in 10 minutes and you immediately start looking for his next load. Because of this, we can close the deal on the first call if the client likes your presentation. Here's an example of a call to action to close the deal. Signing up with us is a very simple process. I will just need your email address to send you the setup packet. You will need to send back your company documents, MC, W-9 and certificate of insurance. You will also need to sign a dispatcher carrier agreement. There are no additional fees for setting up, pausing or canceling the agreement. While you're taking care of the documents, I can start looking for your next load and sending you some offers. Tell me, when and where will you need your next load from? At this point, we explain to the customer the process of signing up for our service and once again emphasize the fact that it's absolutely free to start. But most important are the last two sentences. While you're dealing with the paperwork, I can get busy looking for your next shipment and send you some offers. Tell me when and from where you will need your next load. So, saying just those two sentences doubles your chances of getting started with that client. Of course, I haven't included discussion of price, terms of cooperation and other details here. I'm only going over the key steps involved in the sales right now. You can go through the details by opening the sales script template file that I've attached to the lesson. But we're not done yet. An important part of the sale call is the handling of objections. Let's dive into that for a minute. So, objections can and will arise at any point in the conversation. That's why we discuss them separately. Fortunately, in my years of cold calling, I've learned that objections are always the same. So by coming up with answer options for the main ones, you can handle pretty much any objection. Let's start with the first one. And no thank you, I'm not interested, or I do my own dispatch. This is the most common type of objection, basically a simple no. A weak salesperson will immediately give up after hearing a no, but you and I will handle it. Here are two answer options, a short one and a more extended one. So option 1. Listen, why not get more load offers that could be higher paying loads without taking any financial risk? From this you can only gain. I will only charge you if you actually book a load through me, so why not give it a try? If they say no to that phrase, you can try to ask a question and get them talking. If they don't want to answer questions, just let them go. You've done all you could. Chances are they really don't need the service at this point. You can save their contact and maybe try them again in a couple of months. Here's a longer answer version to the same objective. I understand, but you can also use our service as an additional source of load opportunities. Just like you have your load boards and your broker contacts, you can have a dispatcher send you load offers that are specific to your preferences and your financial goals. We only charge a commission if you accept a load, the dispatcher books it and you deliver it. In that case, we will send you an invoice for the percentage at the end of the week. Otherwise, there are absolutely no fees. So, this option works well for more experienced carriers, because they already have their dispatch sorted, but it doesn't mean that you can't sign up with them. You will need to slowly infiltrate your services into their dispatch routine. Maybe only partially dispatch them at the beginning, meaning they will book some loads through you and some through other sources. Alright, second objection is send me an email. Actually seems like great news at first sight. The carrier wants me to send him my information by email. But actually, that's an objection. It's the same as I need to consult with my wife. It's an excuse to end the conversation because the customer has lost interest. And what do we need to do if this happens? That's right. We need to get the interest back. And what are people interested in? Talking about themselves and their business. So here's a great way to deal with this objection. Yes, John, I will certainly send you our info by email, but in order for me to send you the most relevant information, let me ask you a quick question. And after this, just start going through questions that you've prepared beforehand. What type of equipment do you have? How many trucks do you run? How do you currently handle your dispatch? What are your financial goals? Etc., etc., etc. And do not let him go until you at least have the opportunity to make a brief presentation of the service. After the conversation ends, send that informational email or a commercial offer, take a pause of maybe 1 to 2 days, and then call again, trying to close the sale. Next objection, I'm busy right now, or I'm driving, I cannot talk. This is the only case where we actually can let the potential customer go without a fight, especially if he said it at the very beginning of the conversation. Because if the person is busy, we don't want to bother him. We'll only make it worse. The only thing we can try is to schedule the next call. So try to go with something like this. My apologies, I won't bother you any longer. What time can I call you back today? So pay attention to this today. Not just when can I call you back, but what time can I call you back today? It's a little sales trick. We set a psychological time limit, and the person is more likely to agree to speak again later today. Okay, and the last typical objection is it's too expensive, or your fees are too high. Well, that's a classic. No matter what numbers you name, the answer is always expensive. We'll also deal with this problem in the classic way, explaining why the value overrides the price. We'll touch upon pricing your service a bit later, but to handle this objection, try something like this. I understand you might have seen lower prices for a similar service, but in dispatching, quality outweighs the cost. I book loads that are 10 to 15% above average market price, but I charge only 4% commission. Plus, considering that you only pay if you accept a load, you can do your own calculation for each offer. Take away 4% and see if my load still makes financial sense to you. I've had many customers tell me that in the beginning, but they gave me a chance to prove myself, and now they book loads only through me. In my opinion, this is the perfect handling of the objection. Yes, I take 4%. Yes, some inexperienced guy from Cuba probably charges less. But I'm a professional, I book loads above the market price, and it will end up being more profitable for you. You see, we emphasize it by saying that other customers were also hesitant at first, but then saw the real value. Well, that's about it. Only 4 key objection types, but once you think of good answers, you can use them for any occasion. You don't need to keep more in mind, because yes, there are atypical and tricky questions, but the answers will also be atypical, customized for the situation. They don't have to be written down and memorized. Your sales script is just the foundation. After a couple days of calls, you will not read from a piece of paper, and after the first couple 100 calls, you will not even put it in front of you. Everything will be in your head anyway. So, be sure to read through the scripts that I've attached to the lesson. They have even more details and options for you to pick from. I also included a simplified script that a student of mine created in the past and that works great for beginners. The main thing to remember is that your task is to create your own script that suits your character, your image, and manner of communication. And don't forget to constantly download the carrier database file, even if you're not planning to use them right away. You may need them in the future. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Yeah, hi, this is Dimitri with Pro Dispatch. I'm trying to reach Ron. Is he available?
Ron speaking. How can I help you?
Oh yeah, hi Ron. Look, I found your contact online. We're a truck dispatching service. I see here that you recently registered your authority. I just wanted to give you a quick call, introduce myself, see if we can help you get access to more load opportunities, increase your income, maybe help out with some documents, invoicing, setting up with brokers.
Okay, I'm on my own really for now, but how about I keep your contact in mind and maybe I'll give you a call sometime. What did you say your company was?
Yeah, Pro Dispatch 24. Ron, you run a dry van, correct?
Yeah, 26-foot van.
So a box truck.
Yeah, a box truck.
Okay. Look, Ron, we do a lot of work with box trucks. You probably already got set up with some brokers, but I know first couple of months can be challenging. A dispatch service can help you a lot in terms of getting more contacts and more load opportunities. I promise I won't try to sell you anything that you have to pay, upfront, but if we manage to help you, we can work together. If not, we go our separate ways. Just give me 2 minutes of your time.
Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead. I don't have too much time though, because I gotta give my papers here and I'm waiting in line.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Ron, a quick question first. How do you currently manage your dispatching?
Well, I do it by myself, really. I'm set up with some brokers, just running southeast at the moment, picking up some loads here or there.
Okay, I see. And are you set up with Amazon?
No, I don't do Amazon yet.
Okay, so first things first, we can get you registered and run some loads with them, as well as a number of other brokers that we have good loads from for box trucks in the southeast. Ron, what I can do for you for now is assign a personal dispatcher to you. It's free of charge. You don't have to pay anything until you actually accept a load that a dispatcher offers you. In that case, the dispatcher will go ahead and get you set up with the broker, process all the documents, book the load, and send you the rate confirmation.
Okay, just to confirm, I don't have to pay anything for the service?
No, not until we book a load for you. So when you do, there's an 8% fee that's billed weekly, but it's not mandatory to book with us. You can book your own loads just like you do now. It's just an extra way of getting more loads for you. Same way as you have your load boards and your brokers, you'll have a dispatcher that offers you loads that are specific to what you're looking for in terms of areas and financials. And also they'll process your documents and invoices. It's all included in the commission.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me. I gotta run now though. Can we do this tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. We can get everything figured out tomorrow, and I'll let you go for now. But let me just quickly grab your email address so I can send you the setup packet.
Okay, it's ron.carlisle with an S.
Okay. S after I, right?
Yeah. ron.carlisletransport with no space at gmail.com.
Okay, got it. carlisletransport@gmail. Okay, thank you, Ron. I'll send you our packet and agreement. And what's a good time tomorrow to get you connected with a dispatcher? I'll call you myself first and then get your dispatcher on the line so we can go through all the details together.
Let's say around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Eastern time, right?
Yeah, Eastern time. Okay, I gotta go. Send me the setup and I'll fill it out later at night.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, I'll send it right over. You have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you as well.
Hi. We spent a lot of time going over a sales call, and it was for a good reason. Because for the next way to attract a customer, you're going to need all that information. The value proposition, the handling objections, and so on. But now we're going to take all that and apply it to social media networking. In the previous module, we discussed Facebook as a platform for job search. But the social network works even better for finding clients. Say, in cold calling, you call a person, you catch them off guard, they have no idea who's on the other end of the phone, they may be busy or annoyed at the time, and then you start introducing yourself, offering your service, or asking them questions about their business. Facebook is a different approach. Let's say you leave a comment under someone's post in some Facebook tracking community. The person sees your comment and responds to it. You start a correspondence in the comments on a common topic, you discuss a pressing issue, and you realize he's an owner-operator. You write him a couple of short direct messages and move on to personal correspondence. Of course, by that time, he has already checked out your profile page, which is designed to portray the image of a professional dispatcher. He saw that your interesting post about the trucking market, and read your profile description. After a while, you make him an offer. You briefly describe your services, explain what pains you can solve for him, just like in a sales script, and offer to get on a call at a convenient time. On the call, that lead is already warmed up. He feels like he knows who he's communicating with, he's already seen your photo, you already made contact. Sounds great, doesn't it? Sounds like a much easier sell. I'll give you some sound advice about using Facebook for lead generation. The first thing you should do is prepare your profile page. Be sure to add a professional photo, or preferably several, and a description of yourself or your company. If you actively use Facebook and it's filled with photo albums from school years and quotes in different languages, it's better to create a new one, specifically for business. In the feed of your professional profile page, start posting interesting articles related to the industry. You can subscribe to news channels about trucking, or channels of interesting companies that actively generate content, like DAT, Truckstop, or there's also a great company called Freightwaves. Just take their content and repost it on your page. You can also repost content from outside of Facebook. Just go to a news site, find a topic of interest, copy the link and post it. If you have something to write about yourself, that's great, but not necessary. In a couple of days, your page will be primed for success and no one will ever notice that it was created very recently. Next, start subscribing to trucking-themed pages and communities. I actually left a list of communities in the lesson description for you. There are a lot of them, so when you search for communities and groups, just type in any keywords. Trucking, dispatching, loads, freight, flatbed, box truck, owner-operator, truck driver, anything you can think of. Find communities and subscribe to them. In many communities, you need to leave an application and wait until a moderator will let it through. The application may have questions like how are you involved with trucking, or how many years have you been in the industry. Just answer and wait. Applications are accepted very quickly. I've never had one that didn't get accepted. Next, begin to actively participate in discussions. There will be tons of posts of carriers looking for dispatchers. Those are the easiest customers to sign up. Just comment under their post and send them some direct messages. Just know there will be other dispatchers offering their services to them apart from you. So try to stand out from the crowd. Don't write the same copied message to everybody. Write something personalized. What works best is starting to ask them the same questions we use in a sales call. Hey, what areas do you operate in? Or what kind of loads are you looking for? What are you trying to achieve by bringing on a dispatcher, etc. Comment on other posts as well, because there will be plenty of discussions about rates, brokers, and the market in general. Try to identify your target audience, meaning try to find topics that small trucking company owners would be interested in, and comment under those posts. If they reply to your comment, that's it, the ice is broken, and you can move the conversation to private messages or even to a phone call. You can put up your own post as well. It can be a post advertising your service, if the community rules don't prohibit it, or a post on an interesting topic that can engage the audience you're looking for. Here are a couple more tips for writing private messages to potential customers. If you saw a person post or comment and decided to send them a direct message right away, you don't need to add them as a friend. You can only do this if you already had enough conversations in the comments or direct and you have already established contact. Or better yet, don't add them as a friend at all and just wait until they do it themselves. If you're writing a cold private message to a potential customer, it's best to do it in multiple small messages, right? Like in a chat or in a messenger. So first message, hi, my name is Dimitri. Second message, I saw your post in the group and decided to write to you. Third message, I learned that you run reefers out of Illinois. Fourth message, I always have a lot of great loads from that area. Can we discuss potential cooperation? So you see, this way it's much better than writing one long message. It sets a relaxed tone of conversation and differentiates you from spammers who just copy the same message and send it out to everybody. If the person didn't reply to your message throughout the day, write something along the lines of, "Hi, I wrote to you this morning, but you didn't reply. Tell me, are you just busy or are you not really interested in communicating?" Then another day later, write something like just "Hello" or "Hi, are you there?" After another day, make a final attempt to get the person interested in talking. You could send a voice message or make a short video. I took an Instagram sales course and the guys there recommended doing that, and actually it really works. But after 4 or 5 attempts, just leave the person alone. Chances are he's not interested, and if he really hasn't been on Facebook all this time, when he sees your video message, he'll definitely respond to you. It's unlikely that anyone else has reached out to him that way. And one last thing. Remember that Facebook might suspect you of spamming and ban your page if you send too many cold personal messages. I don't know the exact number, but for starters, try to not write more than to 10 new people per day. Over time, you can increase it a little at a time. You will not get banned for writing multiple messages to one person, but if you write to hundreds of different people in the same day, you might. There you go. The same method of networking and lead generation can be used in other social networks, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. There are plenty of tracking communities on social media and many carriers use them to look for dispatchers. If you want even more platforms, search for separate forums about tracking on the internet. Strangely enough, forums are not extinct and you can actually find clients there. Many people will look at this lesson and think, why would I even bother doing cold calling, right? I have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. It's much easier to network and find customers there. Well, you might not like it, but cold calls are your practice of live communication with tracking companies in English. It's also your practice of selling and communicating with customers. After chatting on Facebook, you'll still need to get the client on the phone. And if he agrees to sign up, you still have to dispatch him, and that means almost every day calling each other. If you're not confident in your level of English, cold calls are your everything, your salvation, your conversation booster. If you now rate your level of English as average or below average, there are about 1,000 phone calls between you and a much higher English level. So use the tools I provide to you, use all of them, but don't underestimate cold calling. Being able to hold a professional conversation is the backbone of a good dispatch. On average, about 30% of all marketing emails are opened by the receiver in the US. And the percentage of taking action or clicking on a link within the marketing email is about 5%. Meaning, if you send an email campaign to only 200 contacts, about 60 people will open it and up to 10 people will take some sort of action. For example, visit your website, fill out a contact form, or give you a call. If that doesn't seem like a lot, imagine sending the same campaign to 2,000 or even 10,000 carriers. Email marketing is one of the best performing B2B sales tools in the US. Let's find out how you can make use of it and promote your truck dispatching service. There are 2 types of email marketing: cold email and warm email. Cold emails are sent to people who don't know you and didn't give consent to receiving communications from you. Sending cold emails to licensed carriers is completely legal in the United States because their contact information is publicly available. This can create a great flow of customers interested in your offer. The simplest way to start is simply to create a separate email account, collect some emails of carriers, and start sending them messages manually. However, email marketing is a game of numbers, and automation tools will come handy to start sending more. I recommend you to check out some cold email automation tools, and here are a couple that I've used in the past and can say with certainty that they work. Snow.io, Instantly.ai, Mailshake.com, and Smartrich.io. These cold email automation tools allow you to upload a list of contacts, which you already know where to get, write your email text, and send emails automatically. All of these tools have excellent instructions and guidelines on how to set up your campaigns using their service. But if you don't want to spend time figuring it out, you can just hire an expert, pay them a couple $100 and have them take care of the setup part for you. I'll show you some results we're getting out of cold email campaigns in my company. Okay, so I'll quickly show you one of the email setups that we use in our company. So for these campaigns, we're using Instantly. We currently have these 3 campaigns that just finished. They were just completed, so they started a month ago exactly. So these 3 campaigns have been running for a month. And over here you can see that around 2,600 emails have been sent for each campaign. And the next point here is opened. So as you can see, I told you before that industry averages of opening emails is about 30%, but in trucking, in logistics, people are used to using email all the time. They always check their email, you know, small trucking company owners, they're always on the email. So they actually open many more emails than USA average. My results are more than 50%. So let's say 2,600 emails sent, 1,500 opened. And then the next here is replied. So these are the actions. These are the email replies. These are the clicks. This could be clicks on the link, or just simply they hit reply and they tell you like, hey, I'm interested in more info. So throughout 3 campaigns, I have what, 37, 45, 17. Let me add that up. 37 plus 45 plus 17, 99. So let's just go with 100. So let's say in 1 month, I received 100 leads, 100 potential customers out of these email campaigns. Let's take, I don't know, a week scenario. Let's say we only sign 1 out of 10 incoming leads. So with 100, there would be 10 new customers within a month just from email campaigns. And also consider that not all customers will have just 1 truck. They might have 2, 3, I don't know, 5 trucks. Actually, if you sign 1 customer that has 5 or 6 trucks, that's already enough work for you. If you dispatch all of their trucks, you'll be swamped. You'll be working all day with just that 1 customer. So this is a very strong tool, and not just Instantly, but any other cold email sending providers. You can go on their websites. They have instructions how to use them, how to set everything up. I'll show you one of the campaigns we were doing. Let's say the sequence. So the way it works, it sends a sequence of emails to each lead. So let's say I added one of the leads in the database. They receive the first email first, hi, and then here they get, so their name gets input automatically, their first name. So hi, John, for example. I'm Dimitri, CEO at ProDispatch24. We book loads 20 to 30% above the current market for our customers. We also have dedicated regular and direct shipper freight. So, I mean, this sentence was written specific to my company. You don't have to write the same thing. You can come up with your own text and then test them, see which one works. I've been using many different texts. This is not the single optimal campaign. I've been testing different copies, different texts, different call to actions, different offers, and then just choosing whichever worked the best. So we also have dedicated regular shipper freight. I would be happy to let you know what we can do for your type of equipment. You can reply to this email or dial me. My number is at the bottom. So actually, on top of those 99 leads we got, many people also called or texted on our company phone number. So in reality, we got even more leads from these campaigns. So they get this first email. If they reply to it, then a manager starts speaking to them by email and trying to get them on a call. If they don't reply, then this program waits for 5 days and then it sends them the second email. Hey, I know you're super busy, just making sure this email didn't get buried. Our customers typically see 20-30% increase in their gross in the first months. I'd love to see you succeed. That's why I'm offering a way to try our service at zero charge. So actually, as you know, trying the service of a dispatcher is usually at zero charge anyway, but it's just a marketing trick, just something I've been trying out to see if it works, to see if it catches their interest. Send me a quick reply and let's jump on a call to discuss. So I already added a call to action here. And they receive the second email. If they don't reply to the second email, the program waits another 5 days and then sends them the last third email. Hi, at this point, I'll assume that improving dispatch and getting more load opportunities is not a priority for you right now. Please feel free to reach out when this changes. Would love to work with you in the future. Best, Dimitri. So they'll receive this last message. Maybe they didn't notice the previous 2 messages, and then they'll go and see one and they'll be like, hey, what is this about? So they'll go back and check these ones and then potentially reply. So you can create this sequence even larger. You can add 5, 10 steps. I usually do 3 steps just because I feel in tracking, in dispatching, if a person is not interested in your service at all, then there's no point pushing it on them. But a sequence of 3 steps, I feel is just enough. You can copy what I did. You can check out on instantly. They have a great database of copywriting, how to make text, how to write a good email. So you can get, I got a lot of pointers and advice from them. But yeah, you can use instantly. You can use any other service and get anywhere near 100 leads per month. I can scale this campaign. Instead of 3 campaigns, I can make 6 and potentially make 200 leads per month. So it's scalable. It's possible to get more or less leads depending on your company size, depending on your dispatching service size. So that's cold email campaigns for you. Second option of using email marketing to get more customers is sending warm email campaigns. Warm emails are the ones you send to people who gave you their contact information and gave consent to send them emails. How are you going to find these people? Of course, through cold calling and social media networking. Let's say you cold call a carrier. They don't sign up with you right away, but they give you their email address. In a couple of weeks, you collect, let's say, 100 such emails and decided to send them a warm email campaign, reminding them about your service and maybe offering a discount. This will allow you to sign up new customers from the database of carriers who you've already interacted with but haven't signed up. Today, there are thousands of companies that provide mass warm email services. Using their software, you can create a beautiful design of an email, send it quickly to all your contacts, and track the statistics to see who opened the email and how many times they did it. Out of the best platforms on the market, I recommend Constant Contact, Sendinblue, and MailChimp. All of these offer a free trial version. You can upload a certain number of contacts for free and send a certain number of emails per month. The top of my list is MailChimp. Their mailing system is super easy to use. You can create beautiful designs in minutes, plus it has a lot of additional features. You can create landing pages, do a comparison of the effectiveness of different email campaigns. You can automatically insert the name of a person or the name of their company in the subject line of the letter. But best of all, MailChimp offers the most extensive free package. You can upload 2,000 contacts and send up to 10,000 emails per account. If you have more than 2,000 contacts, you can archive them and add another 2,000 and send emails to them too. I've been using this program for several years now and I've never paid a dime for it. This is one of my favorite tools to sign up more customers with almost no additional effort. What else can you do to attract carriers? Paid ads on tracking-related websites and communities. Yes, you can purchase ads on different websites to promote your services. Cheapest options are usually Facebook communities or Instagram pages. For example, those communities on Facebook that do not allow unsolicited advertisement will usually be happy to post the ad for your dispatching service on their page for a small payment or donation. The larger the audience, the more expensive the advertisement. For example, the trackersreport.com, a trackers forum, which is visited by tens of thousands of trackers daily, will add your company to their list of recommended dispatch services for a fee. And Tracker Path, for a fee, will add your advertisement to its load board and it will be displayed to thousands of carriers who visited looking for loads. Another good tool, advertising on classified websites. So this method is actually very closely related to the topic of the job search module, because I suggest you advertise your services on the same sites, on online bulletin boards. First of all, it's Craigslist, but instead of searching through ads in the job section, you can post your own in the automotive services section. Many carriers go to this section to find an auto mechanic or tow truck service or a dispatcher. That way they may come across your ad and call you. Don't forget that Craigslist is organized by area. So if you post an ad, say in New York, people who search for automotive services in Chicago will not see your ad. But the cost of an ad on Craigslist is very low. It's starting at about $5. Even if you place multiple ads in multiple regions and only sign up one customer from them, it's worth it. You can make the money you invested back in just 1 week working with a new carrier. Another good classifieds platform is Oodle. On Oodle, you can place an ad in the auto services section absolutely for free. You can find many classified websites on Google. Just search for USA classifieds or classified boards. And the final promotion method I will discuss today is targeted social media marketing and Google Ads. These are the ads that appear when you scroll through your feed on Facebook or Instagram, or when you watch videos on YouTube, or when you search for something on Google. This is a more advanced stage and I don't recommend it for novice dispatchers. However, for rapid growth and development in the future, you will definitely need it. This advertising is based on the principles of pay-per-view or pay-per-action. So you're paying for the number of views or for the number of actions performed by your audience, for example, clicks on ads or transfers to your website. I will not dwell on it because I'm not a professional marketer and I cannot advise you in depth on this subject. The only thing I can tell you is that I pay a marketing contractor about $500 a month for this service. He sets up the ads, selects the right audience for my dispatching company, and monitors the ad performance. In addition to this, I myself choose the amount of money to spend on advertising budget, depending on the needs of the dispatch department. In large companies, this budget runs into hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you want to go this route, be sure to find a good marketing company and watch their performance closely. But once again, if you're just starting out, you don't have a team of dispatchers, you'll be dispatching on your own, there is absolutely no need to spend money on paid ads. The free tools I gave in this module will allow you to attract carriers with ease and without any investment. All you need is to put in a bit of time, a bit of effort, and just treat it as one of your business processes. If you absolutely hate selling and don't want to worry about finding your own carriers to dispatch, go back to Module 8 and focus on finding a dispatcher job. Otherwise, move on to the next lesson. We'll talk about the list of services you can provide as an independent dispatcher, working with partners, and accepting payments from carriers. One of the questions every new dispatcher asks is, how much should I charge for my services? Well, the average industry rates are 3 to 6% of gross income generated for semi-trucks with any standard trailer or power only, and 6 to 12% for smaller hotshots and box trucks. In my company, we currently charge 4% for semi-trucks and 10% for box trucks and hotshots. We didn't come up with these numbers randomly. We did our research and compared the cost of advertising at different rates. We use parameters such as cost to attract a lead, conversion to an application, conversion to a signed customer, and collected data on customer satisfaction with the service at different commission rates. These rates showed the best results. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do exactly the same. One of the reasons I don't charge higher commissions is because I need a large inflow of customers all the time to constantly supply all dispatchers with work. And as long as you're working alone, you can adjust to your workload. For example, for signing your very first customer, I recommend charging a smaller percentage so you can get to work faster and compensate for your lack of experience. It's not as important for you to make money right now as it is to get invaluable experience. Later on, when you've got 3 or 4 trucks and you're not too desperate to sign another one, try asking for a higher commission. Why not? Some dispatchers charge all the way up to 10% for semi-trucks. It all depends on you and how you sell your service. Another option for you is a weekly flat rate. In this case, instead of a percentage, the carrier must pay you a flat fee regardless of the weekly turnover. Market averages are from $150 to $300 per week per truck. The third option is a hybrid system, so a flat fee plus percentage. For example, a flat fee of $100 per week plus 3% of the turnover. And if you have a carrier who wants to work locally in one state or region and take short loads, you can even set a flat rate for each load. For example, $40 per load. It's not much, but if you have to book him 20 loads in a month, that's $800 in commission. So I provided you the market averages and list of possible options, but pricing your service is a personal matter. The price of your service must be agreed verbally and then outlined in an agreement or a contract. I attached templates of agreement with percentage and fixed rates in the lesson description. I'm not a lawyer and can't properly advise you on the matter of drafting contracts. I'm simply leaving you the templates written by my lawyer. They will be quite enough for you to start. And there are also plenty of templates on Google as well. Just search for dispatcher carrier agreements. If you will be entering into contract between a legal entity in the US and your legal entity in your country, it's best to contact a professional who will review these templates and adjust them to fit the laws of your country. Another important topic, list of services provided. So the standard service package of a dispatcher typically includes searching for loads, negotiating with brokers, booking loads, filling out carrier packets with new brokers, providing dispatch instructions to drivers, monitoring drivers in transit, providing broker updates, requesting lumper fees and other additional payments, and also invoicing brokers on behalf of carriers. All these services can be sold as one whole package or provided separately for a smaller fee. For example, I have a customer who has 6 trucks, but they all work on a contract for one specific factory, so they don't need a dispatcher who will build route plans and look for loads. They already have loads. When our sales manager offered them our service, they said they didn't need the whole package, but they needed someone to coordinate the drivers and keep track of the loads. So we adjusted to their needs and provided them with a dispatcher for only $300 a week. Working with all their 6 trucks takes the dispatcher maximum 2 hours per day. I also have customers who book their own loads but only need to have carrier packets filled out. So they drive most of the time, so it's easier for them to pay someone to do it. We charge them a nominal fee of $30 to $50 per packet, and it only really takes about 10 minutes to do it. Remember, selling individual services is a great supplemental income. The price of the individual service compared to the time spent on it should be much higher than the price of the full package of services. So let's say for $100, we'll do just the invoicing, it takes 10 minutes to do it, and for $250, we'll provide a full range of services, which requires much more effort. I'll give you another tip on how to expand your range of services and increase profits. Start partnering with companies that offer services complementary to yours. The most obvious partner of a dispatcher is a factoring company. Almost every factoring company has a referral or affiliate program. And for every carrier you refer to them, they will pay you a one-time bonus or a small percentage for each load the carrier factors through them. It might be 0.5% or even 0.25%, doesn't matter. But if you charge a 3% commission, that extra 0.25% increases your net profit by 8%. And that's huge for a business. Plus, it's a boost for your image as a professional dispatcher. You can offer carriers a package of dispatch plus factoring. Factoring companies are usually large enterprises, so being associated with one is definitely a benefit for you. Factoring companies also offer other benefits to carriers, such as free fuel cards or discounts for repair services. If you partner with one, you will be able to offer all these benefits as well. Okay, for our final topic, I want to bring up the question of accepting payments from carriers. A self-employed dispatcher has many options, and I'll tell you my perspective on this issue, but I want to emphasize right away that I'm not a professional lawyer or a certified accountant. I don't have the authority to advise you on legal matters, especially in your own country, and I strongly recommend that you consult with a professional when registering your business or paying taxes or choosing a method of accepting payments. Everything I'll tell you is based on my personal experience and the experience of other dispatchers. So, at the beginning of my journey as a dispatcher, I didn't see the need to open a company in the US and accept payments into a business account. For a dispatcher located in any country, there are many options to accept their very first payments. Western Union, Payoneer, and PayPal are great examples. I'm talking about the first hundreds of dollars in the first weeks of operation. It makes sense. You're just starting out as a dispatcher. You need to get a feel of the job without investing time and money into opening a company. Many dispatchers even provide the service for free to their first customers in order to get experience. Of course, it's much easier to find a customer like that, but in my opinion, it's not necessary. But everyone has their own vision. I would simply agree with the carrier that when I find loads for them, they will pay my commission to PayPal in the first couple weeks before we get signed up properly. The next stage, if you have already decided that you will definitely do this business, is to open a legal entity in the country of your residence. It could be a sole proprietorship or a limited liability company, or any other type of entity that has the right to provide services to foreign companies. Contact a certified accountant to find out about the options in your home country. Consulting an accountant will cost close to nothing, but will help protect you from problems with legal or tax authorities. The idea is simple. Open a company in your country and provide services to American companies. It's completely normal for an American company to work with remote contractors from overseas. Just think of all the companies that hire freelancers for marketing, IT services, or web design. You can do the exact same thing with dispatching. They will be able to transfer money to your business bank account via a wire transfer or through third-party payment providers such as Wise, same PayPal, Payoneer, Stripe, or hundreds of others. All depends on what's available in your country. Once you gain experience and start growing your business, getting more customers, hiring other dispatchers to work for you, or even starting your own transportation or brokerage company, that's a stage when you might want to consider opening a business in the US. There are currently two types of legal entities that foreigners can open in the US. It's a limited liability company, an LLC, and a corporation, a C Corp. You don't need a visa or a residency or a green card to open a company in the US, unless you plan to move there physically and do business from there. You can even open a company without physically going to the US. Everything is done online. The only difficulty is opening a business bank account. Most banks require personal presence. Of course, you can get a tourist visa and fly all the way to the US, but today there are many law firms that can absolutely legally help you open a company and a business bank account in the US. Their services don't cost a fortune. They're typically from a couple hundred up to maybe $1,000, with everything included. Opening a company, business bank account, tax numbers, virtual office, everything you need. Just Google opening a business in the US remotely and really just go with any company that you like best. Opening a company in the US comes with a number of benefits. You will be able to accept payments into a domestic bank account, which will raise your company's image, help you sign up more clients, and allow you to use a number of marketing products and services that are not available to foreign companies. For example, entering into partnership agreements with large firms that work only with American companies, or even simply opening a DAT load board account under your name. On the other hand, you will have to understand US tax laws or pay a certified accountant to keep records and file tax returns for you. But in any case, if you seriously decide to expand your business, opening a company in the US will be a necessary step for growth.